I do encourage everyone to watch a multi-stream. I think it'll be really great. Is there anyone in either chat that is around a beginner level? I'm 1100 on chess. I would love to play someone in chat, but if not, I would just play a rapid game, and then I guess just see what my problems are, see how bad I am. Oh, that's the alarm to start the stream. And just I guess we can go from there, and you can just take me whatever direction you feel is best.
I mean, I think definitely you should play a slower time control game like a rapid. I mean, honestly, even for this game, I would say whoever's going to play you maybe be willing to just not care about the time too much. I mean, we don't want it to drag on forever and ever, but
yeah, I was thinking 10-5 or 15-10 in the rapid.
Yeah, I would say 15-10.
Okay.
For me, 10-5 is even a little quick, especially when you're a beginner. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean, I rarely play faster than 15-10. Like, I play Blitz for fun, but like I don't really consider Blitz to be a good learning experience.
Gung Fusi says he's around 1000, so we can start with that. What's your username?
Yeah, that sounds good.
On LeChess, Gung Fusi. How do I send a challenge? Do I just search? Is this a search thing right here on the top right?
Yeah, on the top right, the little magnifying glass.
All right.
I think you can also, if you're on the homepage, I think there's a big button that just says challenge a friend or play with a friend. Yeah, play with a friend.
He uses chess.com. I would prefer to stick to LeChess because I don't have a setup for chess.com. So if
I should have mentioned, like, I pretty much have to stick with LeChess because
I do too. I don't have any setup for chess.com or an account or anything like that. So we're kind of just using LeChess today. That's what we have. That's what we've prepared.
So if anyone isn't on LeChess, go to LeChess. LeChess is a great site. I mean, I'm not a chess.com hater like a lot of people are, but LeChess is just better, just to be honest. Chess.com might have the better player base, and the puzzles and stuff are cool, but LeChess is a much smoother site overall.
It depends on how long it takes you, Gung Pussy. If I want to go ahead and get a game in the next minute or two. So if you get on and send me a link username, sure, but if not, I'm just going to click on 1510. Because I don't want to spend too long waiting to start. But this does give a minute or two for everyone to join.
And unfortunately, the people in my chat are like around my level or even stronger. So.
Yeah, I'm scared of your chat. They might be a little much.
Yeah, it might be.
One thing I wish honestly, I could do is I wish I could see your chat better. Like, I don't have a way to read your chat and my chat at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know that I do either, because I just have the chat, like my chat open in Streamlabs, but my computer gets really slow when I'm streaming anyway, and I'm worried that if I have like another browser window, multi-twitch or whatever.
I get that. I get that a lot. Mine is just tabbed. Yeah, so I have to actually click over to read your chat. So I can, like, if someone posts a link, I can click it real quick, but I'm not exactly watching it. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and click 1510 so we can get started.
Okay. Yeah, sounds great. And I'm going to...
Are you able to watch my game?
Username?
Can you watch?
Oh, Chris challenge him? I think you may have a challenger in my chat.
Oh, well, I already started. Okay.
Well, that's fine.
I don't know how to handle that one.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting to your game now.
If I move my... Oh, no, I can't move that there.
Wow, you're perfectly, like, y'all with the same rating. That's perfect.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. I don't know this move because I want to move my knight out. Okay, I'm just going to move my knight out like I normally do. I don't know how to handle that move. I want to poke it, but I don't know how to poke it. So.
That's totally a fine move. So when they play c5 against e4, this is actually a really common opening. This is the Sicilian. It's maybe the most common response to e4. And then e5 is really common, and that's probably more common at the beginner level. But
okay,
the Sicilian c5 is really popular. That's what I play.
So I don't know if this is good, but my current thinking is if I move my bishop to in front of my knight, it is out, but it's hanging, and I don't like hanging. But if I move it in front of my pawn, it blocks my pawn, but I want to get my bishop out so I can castle. So I'm thinking about moving my pawn and then trading pawns, and then if he wants, I can trade knights as well. And then I can move my
Thinking about
bishop
the
out.
move d4.
Yeah, d4. So yeah, I gotta use. I forget that you guys use coordinates a lot more than we do. So I'm considering d4. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I
Yeah,
don't like his pawn, and I want to be more. I want my pieces to get active quickly.
yeah, I think d4 was a great move. That's pretty typical from white in the Sicilian, to play a so-called open Sicilian.
Okay, so this
Um,
opening that I do where I get my knights out quickly. I move the pawn in front of the king, and then I get my knights out. That's called Sicilian.
well, the Sicilian is just from white and c5 from black, so it's really a pretty
Oh,
big bucket of openings that are all kind of related.
so it's the
Um,
two pawns moving out. That's Sicilian.
right, it's just the e4 from white and the c5 from black that makes it the Sicilian. And there's, like I said, there's many variations of the Sicilian. I don't know exactly what this one is because I'm not as familiar with knight c3 move 2. But now we've sort of transposed into more normal looking Sicilian, I think. But someone in my
Mm.
chat will probably have to help me. I think this looks sort of like a Taimanov, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
So I'm looking at the trade, but I usually don't like making trades in his area unless I can make two pawns stack. Which I don't know if that's the right
Yeah,
term or not. So I think I'm not going to worry about trading those knights unless he wants to. So I'm thinking now I want to move a bishop out. I was considering the castle, but I'm also considering the left side to defend the hanging rook. So I think since I have a hanging piece, I'm going to go ahead and no, it's not hanging because the queen's defending it. But I'm supposed to have like +1 defense, right? So I'm just going to move that bishop out to protect my knight and hope that's good.
yeah, I think that's fine. And yeah, I mean, this is a fairly typical looking Sicilian setup. Sometimes white can play queen d2, going up one square, and then you castle long or castle queenside. Um, but you're kind of flexible here because you can also develop your light square bishop
Mm-hmm.
and castle kingside. And sometimes it's advantageous to have, options and keep your opponent guessing which way
Is
your
there a
king's going to be
better
going.
castle like left side or right side, or does it not matter?
Um, Not really. I mean, about castling queenside is your pawn on a2 can be weak because it's often not like
Okay, I'm
you
gonna go.
touching that pawn and isn't defending it.
I'm gonna go this way then
This
because.
case, that move's fine. I mean, you have to be a little aware that you're cutting off your queen's defense of the knight.
Oh,
But
I
since
didn't
your
think
knight's
about that.
defended, it's not. Since your knight's defended by the bishop, I don't think it's a big deal. But, thing to be aware of, especially
Okay,
since now he's got a bishop on that diagonal where, right, he can move his
that's
knight, and
weird.
now his bishop's attacking you.
What? What? You said my bishop's. You said a bishop's attacking me, and I'm like, where? I see it now. Okay, so the bishop's attacking the knight
You
now.
see it? Okay.
I would not have seen that if you didn't say it though, because I didn't even notice that. I was like, why is he moving a knight to the edge? Isn't that bad? Uh,
Yeah, that's kind of a tricky move from him.
um, yeah, I wouldn't have noticed that. I'm trying to think what I want to do to continue with my strategy. So if he, so I guess I can't not unsee the bishop. So I'm just gonna pretend like I saw that. So he has a bishop that threatens the knight, and then I could take bishop for bishop, and then he can take my bishop. So he would be up 3 if I did that. So don't want to do that. Um, so I want to move this bishop, but I don't know where. I think I'm just going to move it out because I think this goes into a good shape where you have the bishops on the left side of the. I don't know. C4 and F4 is like a good spot to have bishops, right? That's, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be. Honestly, I probably would have just traded knights. I mean, I think your move's
Oh,
probably fine.
I didn't think about
But
trading.
I don't know. It's often the case that you don't want to move the same piece twice in the opening. Although I guess if you're trading knights, you're moving that piece twice, sure, which is better.
Oh,
which would have been better. But um,
I have trouble realizing if I've touched a move or a piece or not. Like I don't even remember which pieces I've touched.
oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna
You're kind
move.
of out of the opening now anyway.
Oh, I am.
Okay, so well,
I thought I would be out of the opening when I got these
Rook A to
two rooks to
D1.
the center.
Yeah, centralizing the rooks is definitely important, especially rooks like to be on open files. That's sort of the mantra. So the D file, have a pawn on the D file, it's considered an open file from your point of view, half open because
Okay, so
you have a pawn there.
open doesn't mean not having pieces. Open means if there's pawns there or not.
Right. That only refers to the pawns.
Oh, okay.
Think about it, like the pawns are mostly just going to be moving along that file, but you can move your knight the way of
Is
your
is
rook
that?
and queen.
I feel like his king's in a weird spot. I don't think I can do anything to it
But
right
he played,
now.
yeah, he a good reason actually. So in the previous move, played h6, his pawn up to h6. He didn't realize that you had your queen and bishop attacking h6. You had two attackers, he had one defender. You could have just taken the pawn. So
Oh,
that's why he moved his king
I'm
up.
not
He's
doing my
defending his
Clossius
pawn.
approach, which is where am I weak? Where's my opponent weak? Where's the big move? I need to do where's the opponent weak? Where am I weak? Stuff, or where am I weak? Where's my opponent weak? I need to think about that
I
before
mean,
playing a normal move.
a typical approach in chess is you should calculate. There's three types of moves that you need to look at every time that you're on the move. One is checks because your opponent has to respond. That's a very forcing.
Mm-hmm.
Two is captures, or because a capture you're winning some material and probably your opponent needs to reel back or play another threat to sort of equalize that exchange. And then the third is threats, which is a lot more nebulous and hard to explain to a beginner, but
So like
I
forcing
mean, it's
moves
sort
that
of
set something up.
right, like you're setting up a capture, you're setting up a check that would advantageous. But those are a lot harder to see for beginners. But fixing captures are definitely good moves to look at every move. I mean, in practice, you might not have time to look at every capture and every check in every position.
Well, I feel like well, my thinking, not thinking, my thought is that wouldn't you eventually just train your eyes to notice it instantly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think like grandmasters, when they see a position, I mean, I think in a few seconds they've looked at every single capture, every single check, no matter how ridiculous it is. Um, they're at least just aware that those moves are there, and then they got to figure out how to make them work.
Okay, so he's poking my bishop, and my bishop is
Yes.
currently hanging, so I didn't realize that.
Yes,
So
that's important to realize.
first, I want to try to see if I can counterattack. So can I move this bishop to counterattack anything? I don't think so. And I like having my bishop out here, so instead of moving it back, I think I'm going to defend it with a pawn at b3. Is there any other, like, fork that I can do? Is there a fork that I can do? Like, is there a way to attack this knight? I don't think so, because the knight, if he takes, also threatens my queen, so even if I set up a fork, it would have to be as valuable as the queen. So I think I'm just going to defend with the pawn.
I think that's a very good thought process. I mean, it's even struggle with when I see a piece attacked, I want to move it or I want to defend it. I don't. It's hard for me to think, oh, maybe I can counterattack or do something more active first. So I think it's good that you way.
Yeah.
I probably would have played bishop back to b3 because if he takes your bishop, your pawns get double isolated on the c file, meaning you've got two pawns on the c file and there's no pawns on the directly adjacent files. So those types of pawns are often very weak. So I think for pawn structure reasons, I probably would have played the bishop back to b3. Maybe you could have even played the bishop back to like f1 or e2. This is fine. I mean, really, at your level, the important thing is to not lose material.
Yeah.
So defending it's perfectly fine.
Okay, so now we're in mid game, right? So now I want to start trying to mess up his position. So I can take a pawn, but I'll immediately lose my bishop. And he's defending it with two
So
pieces. So I can
aware
poke
of
a
the piece
knight.
values, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, pawn is 1, bishop is 3, so it'd be a bad exchange, but I'm just acknowledging that it's there. I could poke a knight with my bishop, or I could poke I could poke a knight with my pawn, my f2 pawn. I don't know if that's good to get a pawn out in front of the king, though. I don't know if I should or shouldn't, actually. I don't see anything else. Okay, so let's say I poke and he moves. Where's he going to move? He can't move back because there's 2 pawns. So he'd have to move there, which my knight could then take, which is interesting. But can he move forward at all? So he moves there. I trade, which might be good for him because it lines up my pawns. He can move there, which he loses. There, which doesn't really do anything. I want to set up a fork, but I can't.
This is the kind of position that really separates good chess players from bad chess players, I think.
Yeah.
When there's not really anything like obvious to do, and you've just got to find ways to improve your position. Um, it is challenging. Not really sure what I would do, to be honest. I think I know what I would do.
I'm just
but
gonna
I'm not
poke
positive.
because he's also my level, so it's not like he'll respawn perfectly. So I think just poking might
Yeah.
open up an opening. Now I need to poke in a way that so if I poke with this bishop, I'm still defended. Oh, actually, that knight is poking that. So if I poke, he can take, I take, and then I have a hanging queen. Is there anything that can counterattack that? Look for bishops because I'm bad at bishops. That would leave no, my rook, my knight would not be hanging, so I can make that trade. I'm going to make that trade. He wants to do that, I can make it
Oh, okay.
because I just want to start opening up and poking. I don't know if this is good.
Knight Forest. I don't think poking is a term in chess, but I kind of like his usage of it. So
I don't know. I use it in Go a lot, so I don't know if there's a term for pushing or poking. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing in chess. If there's a term
yeah,
for
I've heard
like
people call it touching, like when one piece is
touching.
either attacking or putting pressure on another piece. I've heard it called touching. I've heard it called tickling.
Tickle.
Because
I'm
like
going to
you're not
tickle
threatening to
him.
win the knight. You're not threatening to win the knight, right? The knight's defended by the bishop, but you are putting pressure on it. So
Someone
you're sort
requested
of
an opening, a normal opening. Use castles. I don't know what that. Rooks. What? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand what they're saying in my chat. They're saying request a
yeah.
normal opening. Use rooks.
DM no GM is right. Your thought process where you said, well, maybe I'll do this and it's not great, but he's not a good player, so he's probably not going to punish it.
Well,
It's probably not the right way to think.
yeah. Well, I wasn't thinking that he wouldn't punish. I was just thinking,
yeah,
if I try to force exchanges, maybe an opening will come up. Is what I was thinking. I wasn't trying to
yeah.
think that he will mess up or anything. I'm just thinking that on a stale board,
Right.
I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to start, I guess, making tickles. I don't know how to use that until I can find an opening. That's interesting. So this move is a fork.
That's a problem. On a nice tactical sequence there. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either. But I'm the new player, so
I should have seen that.
Okay, so I think I have a counter though. No, I don't. I was gonna say I can move my knight to e6 to check his queen, so we can trade queens. But as soon as we trade queens, then he can still get my next knight. So that bishop's is looking at 2 knights, so not just one. Because I'm trying to think of how I can trade if I can't just defend.
That's true, but I mean, also he could just take your knight, and then he's still up a knight. Like if you played knight e6, he could just play like The
Well,
pawn
knight
on
eats.
F takes the E6 knight.
Isn't knight e6 a fork? Oh, wait, he can take it with a pawn.
Take it.
Oh, he'll just take it with a pawn. Yeah.
He can take with the F pawn.
Yeah.
And take with the D pawn. But he could definitely take with the F pawn.
Yep, I'm just bad. I don't know what to do here. Ooh.
I did miss this threat. I mean, we can look at it after the game, but
What
I think
if I
bishop
go
F4 was
here?
not a good move.
Oh, clearly.
Unfortunately, that doesn't really help much.
Oh, because the bishop's worth more than the rook, so even though I'm defending it with 2 pieces, I just made a bad situation worse. I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart.
Porting the pawn is quite powerful when he can go into Pac-Man mode. Like, yeah, now it's quite tough. I wouldn't give up just yet because he is an 1100 player, so he can make mistakes. But
okay, where do I want a queen in the middle game?
How's it going, Indo Queen? Indo Queen, you might enjoy playing Clossius. I think you're a little stronger than him, but it's fairly close. Indo Queen's another relatively new chess player.
If I take with the rook, his bishop will take my rook, and I could take his bishop, but the bishop, that's 5 pawns for 4, and he's up 3, so I'll put him up.
So I'll offer you the advice that when you're losing, when you're down a piece, like you are in this situation, and you're about to be down more than a piece, you don't really want to trade off. So I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. Like if you take the pawn with your rook in exchange, you're losing a rook for a bishop.
Yeah.
Which is actually better than just straight up losing a piece. The only way you're going to win this game is if you checkmate the guy, and your rook's probably going to help you more than your knight is.
Yeah.
So I'm a little torn on what the best move is here. I mean, both moves are losing, but I don't know which one would be. Okay, yeah, a stronger player than me in the chat thinks that rook takes d4 is less bad.
Well, I was just thinking if rook takes the pawn, I'm down the exchange. I'm down 1 pawn, but in this case, I'm down 3. Is my thinking.
Down 6. You're down 2 bishops.
Well, I meant after the 3 mistake.
Oh, just from this exchange.
Yeah, just exchange. Yeah. I lose 3, but on the but with that one, I would be down 4. I don't know if the math is as important though. I'm gonna go here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the actual material difference, like the math, less when you're already losing, when you're already down a piece like this.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're down a piece, like you either need to win the piece back soon, or you're gonna have to checkmate him. Or, I mean, in some cases, maybe you can play for a draw in the end game, but not in this case when the queens are on the board, the rooks are on the board. Like, I mean, this is just objectively completely lost. So you have to try to create threats on his king and just hope that he's not going to be able to counter them.
Yeah, but isn't it harder to make those threats with rooks when he has a lot of pieces? Isn't it better to make threats with knights than rooks? I'm just thinking from the checkmate problems. It's harder to trap a king with behind pieces with rooks, or with, I don't even know if I'm saying the right words. And the checkmate problems, if he has pieces around him. Yeah, it's the stronger piece, but I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I tried to say the right words. I don't know if I'm saying the right words, but isn't it easier?
It's sort of dependent on the situation. I mean, knights are often useful because they move in such an erratic way compared to the other pieces, and they're tricky. I mean, that's basically the best way to describe a knight. But I mean, a rook is the far more powerful piece, but if the board's not very open, then the rooks can be sort of restricted.
And I'm just trying to get my king out because I think it's close to endgame. So don't you want your king out in the endgame? I think.
Well, I don't agree with that logic at all. Well, it is correct that in the endgame you want your king up, but really, end game means the queens are gone and probably at least one pair of rooks is
Oh,
gone.
I don't know how to tell if it's endgame or not. Endgame for me is okay. The center's missing pieces after I've done my setup, so I don't know how to tell what endgame is. Ooh,
this is definitely still a middle game.
Is that a mistake?
He's giving you.
Isn't this a mistake?
Well,
okay,
I would not have played that. I think that's not a good move for me.
If I take with my rook isn't exactly protecting anything right now. Can he do anything? I don't think so. I think that's a mistake, so I'll just take a free pawn.
With the pawn, I'm not really sure. I mean, again, we're sort of, it's sort of an exercise in which is the trickier move, which is the move that creates the bigger chance for him to make a mistake.
Well,
but if you take with the pawn, your pawn's getting pretty close to promoting. I mean, and you're even threatening d7, which just traps his bishop.
Oh, I was thinking the pawn would open up his bishop.
That's true.
I don't know if that's good or bad, though.
But his bishop's not really open up his bishop, because your rook's controlling the d4 square, your other rook's controlling the e5 square. His bishop doesn't really have anywhere to go. It's sort of biting on his pawn at c3.
He's trying to open up the left.
And I'll caution you, you're starting to get fairly low on time.
Oh, yeah. I'm used to like Byo-Yomi where it'll just count in my ear, so I don't have a habit of looking at the clock.
Yeah.
It just tells me how much time I have when I start running low. Which...
Yeah, the chess clock is much less forgiving.
I've timed out a couple times in chess.
Yeah, I have more than a few times.
I want to do this because I'm worried about him opening up the left side and letting his pawns just walk down. So I feel like it's worth defending. I'm just letting you know my mindset. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that doesn't matter, does it? Oh.
And also, I mean,
Here.
The thing about the rook on a1 is that's what we would call a very passive rook. I mean, all it's doing is just sitting there defending a pawn. And that's not really... I mean, again, this is sort of depending on the context, but in this position where losing, you really need active pieces to try to get at his king. Like, the a2 pawn doesn't really matter. In this particular circumstance, the a2 pawn doesn't matter at all. Like, if he's able to move his pawns down the board and queen, then, okay, he does it. But it's a lot of time, and he's winning anyway. Yes, Gung Fu. So yeah, we're doing chess first, and then we're gonna do go. So we're gonna take turns.
I don't know how to break this.
Guessing at how to play the game.
I can't come up with any way to break this. I don't see any opening in his position.
Yeah, he's playing decently, defending this. He's making it tough.
Like, I think it's almost GG.
Yeah, I kind of agree, to be honest. I'm really sure what I would suggest to try to get an
what
attack.
is my all or nothing plan? Because in Go, when I'm about to resign, I'm like, okay, let's come up with an all or nothing move. I don't know if you can do that in chess though without just losing a bunch of pieces. What's my all or nothing plan?
I mean, you can try it, but yeah, I think it's done. I don't even really see a move. Yeah, like doesn't even just take it. Well, maybe if he takes with the pawn, then you've got some chance. Oh, but he's gonna take there. And it still is done, I think. Yeah.
I'm just looking at his king. I'm just trying to. I'm trying
Yeah,
to do something.
I mean, you're coming up with you're coming up with a good idea here. I don't think it's gonna work, but it's a good attempt. It's the right type of thinking. And I think now you see why the rook and the queen are quite powerful.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, his bishop is sort of raining on the parade.
Yeah. If I had one more bishop, or one more rook. Oh
You're
wait,
saying white
wait,
is
wait,
maybe
wait.
fine?
I can
Am I missing
maybe.
something here?
I can go right here.
Is there some tactic?
What can I do? What can I do?
Hmm.
So now that rook has. Oh no, I can't keep it here.
Unfortunately, you're between a rock and a hard place here. Rook can't move, and it also can't not move. Well, I guess the rook can move, but
I need another all or
I
nothing
do if you move
idea.
your rook. Yeah, I think that's as good a move as any because he's ready to promote his pawn.
Mm-hmm. Can't attack the king.
Yeah, now it's
any move.
Completely over. I'm sorry to say.
I don't think I have any chance. I'm down 10 points.
You don't.
Okay, so I just resign.
I'm sorry to tell you.
All right.
Well, I mean, you can play on if you want, but I mean, you've really got nothing to play. If you want to see like a checkmate pattern or something, see what he comes up with, you can. But
yeah, I'm just gonna resign. All right, thank you for the game. I don't know if that's a thing. GG, well played.
Yeah, the chess community's, I think, not as polite as the Go community, if I'm being honest, but I'm sure that'll still be appreciated.
Okay, so
but yeah, that was still, I think you played pretty well in the opening. Unfortunately, you just had one move that didn't really work tactically. So I think someone in oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna invite you to a study of this game. It'll be like kind of in the Go, like the Go analysis board we were looking at last night, where I can make moves on the board and draw arrows and stuff, and you can follow along in real time.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Okay, let me I'm just gonna send you a message on, I guess I'll just send it in Discord.
Okay.
I'll send you the link. I guess that's easiest.
Okay.
And guys in my chat, because I'm stronger people than me in the chat out here. One in Clossius' chat who might be strong too.
I don't know.
By the way,
do we have some strong chess players in my chat?
In my chat, you might find this funny. This stream was initially going to be streaming with Vampire Chicken, aka Jonathan Schrantz, who's a much better player than me and a lot of experience as a chess coach. So shoes to fill. So I need some help.
No. I mean, it's fine. I was planning to do a collaboration stream with you eventually anyway. I would just, I already had it scheduled with him. And then he had a family emergency. So he and I have rescheduled for Saturday. But I had already like spammed social media and everything. And I was like, uh-oh, I need to do something tonight. So you were like my first.
I'm sorry, when did you say that you had rescheduled with Jonathan?
He had something come up earlier today. So we had to cancel earlier today, and so we are rescheduled.
But do you have a new date?
Yeah, it's for Saturday.
Saturday, okay. So yeah, everyone in both chats.
Saturday at 5 p.m. I mean, you're still strong too, right? I mean, you're much stronger than me, so it's not like it doesn't really change much for me. I'm still getting chess reviews.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
I said you're still much stronger than me, so it's for me. It's like I think the difference between you and him, for me, is going to be the same.
Sorry, I get what you're saying. You still cut out a little bit, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Am I cutting out in chat? Let me move my mic closer to my face while knocking stuff off my desk.
I'm gonna.
Oh, you're cutting out for me now. My chat says my sound's fine, but I don't hear you now. His rank is 1800. Uh-oh. Twitch lag. I'm gonna... Can you guys hear him? I can't hear him.
Voice chat is ready.
I don't hear anything. Oh no. I don't hear anything. Oh, he's not on Discord. I lost you. I lost you. But look at this night move. This night move, though, right? Right? It's a pretty night. He's gone to call me on the chat. Oh, is that what that said? Is that voice chat ready? Is that what that sound was? I thought that was something weird. Okay, what does that mean? How do I accept voice chat? Chat room. Streaming. Oh, that's... You can hook up your stream to your chess account? That's cool. I don't know how to accept his voice chat. Okay, I'm gonna read his chat. Crap, his chat doesn't say anything about it. What are the chats? Someone tell me how do I accept the call. I don't know how.
Hey.
Hi.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know how to accept your call on the chess.
My God. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you on Discord? No.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think maybe Discord's having some.
Oh, there's a phone icon on the left side. I don't see a phone.
Chat room.
Yeah, click chat room. There's a green box.
There's a little green box, and then to the right of that, there's a phone icon.
No, there's no phone icon.
Oh, that's weird. You might be on like an older version of.
I might not have set out. I probably don't have like my sound set up on it.
Oh, maybe. Okay, well, I guess Discord's working better now, so hopefully it continue to work.
I think you have a noise filter on yours, and that's why you cut out. In your Discord settings, if you click the user settings, and then voice and video, there's automatically determine input sensitivity, or something like that. You can lower that.
Okay, let me go to that real quick. Voice and video. Automatically determine input sensitivity.
I don't know if I do.
It says if the indicator is solid green, then Discord is transmitting my beautiful voice, and that is happening.
I mean, you sound good right now. I don't know.
Maybe there was just a hiccup in the server. So I guess let's see if it'll work for now.
Okay, yeah, I moved my mic closer to my face, so I guess
I was asking, can you see?
Oh, you cut out right as you explained it.
Like I'm.
Oh yeah, I can see you move. I can see your moves. Yeah, as soon as you started speaking strategy, Discord's like, nope, I'm dropping it now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's another way we can do this.
I think you like lower your voice when you start explaining. I don't know. I don't have a phone on the chest.
Maybe just gonna restart my Discord,
Okay.
and we'll see if maybe that works. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what's going on here, but all right, I'll be back in a minute or two.
Okay. Hit the reset button. Someone said Control R in Discord for a quick restart. Hi, Smith's chat. I'm looking at you guys right now. So we got Bobby No 88. Technical issues. I'll play chess. Chess with Ovi. Hello. Oh, A Gonzalez is in there as well. Jono for Eek. Hello. Skewily. Hello. Night Force. I know that username. Go on Lee Chess. I can see you guys now. And hello everyone in my chat. Fireonic, how are you? Gungfusi, Papa Snake, Thomas, how is everyone? Hope you guys are having fun. This is, of course, you know, Twitch. It wouldn't be a Twitch stream without technical issues. So how did I do? What do you guys think? How did I do with my game? I know I lost and I played terribly, but I've been playing for what, 2 weeks now? 2 weeks actually online playing against people instead of, you know, at a family gathering once every 5 years. I don't have the option on Lee Chess. I don't have a cell phone thing. I don't have a phone icon. I guess it's not set up on Lee Chess. I click sound, standard, preferences, piece animation, material, board, piece, board, move notifications, Zen mode. I wish it would count down for me so I could hear it count down.
Okay, is this any better?
I mean, it sounds good right now. I can hear you right now. Yeah, you're just cutting out again. Are you able to move the mic closer to your face? If you can be louder, it's usually better.
I don't think it's a mic thing because you keep cutting out for me too. So I think it's just an internet thing. I don't understand why.
Oh, that would make sense. That would explain why.
Do you have Google Hangouts? Do you use that?
Yeah, I can use that. To
We could
Google,
try that instead.
Let's do Gmail. I think that's the fastest way to Google Hangouts for me.
I'm gonna send you my my name in Discord.
Okay. You mean you're not Mr. Smith?
I am Mr. Smith, but I think you might have to have my email address. I'm not sure.
Let's see. CL Smith. Charlie Larry Smith 15.
Nope. Good guess though.
Charlie Larry. No, that's your new name, right? Your chat's not gonna let you live that
That's
down.
Fair. Probably not. Actually, I have had someone in my chat try to. I can't remember what he calls me. He guessed what my name was, and I was like, "That's not it." And he's like, "I'm gonna call you that anyway." So I was like, "Okay, fine."
That's my email.
Oh, okay, great.
So if you can just call me.
Okay.
Fun collaboration streams.
Yeah, this is my first one ever, so I'm.
I didn't even know there was a phone button on the chest. To be fair.
I'm gonna I just sent you an invite on Hangouts. Hang up on Discord, and then we'll see if Hangouts works.
I don't know how to join Hangouts apparently because I'm not getting popped up. Oh, hold on.
Just maybe go to hangouts.google.com.
I have Hangouts conversation.
Are you in Gmail?
Yeah.
It says okay. If you go to hangouts.google.com, I think might work better. And of course, now Discord's working perfectly. So
yeah. And now we're doing chess tutorials. Now we're doing Google tutorials, and eventually we'll do Go
Right.
tutorials. All right, there's a green button. Wonder what that means. Hi, Sean. Get started by calling or messaging a friend below. Are we friends? I don't know if I have
I
any
think
friends.
I sent you an invite.
That's also like loading. That's conversations. Phone calls. Nope. Contacts. Nope. How do I do this? Is it a phone call or a conversation? It's conversations, right?
I think it's a conversation.
Don't have
And then I was gonna.
I don't have any new conversation.
I sent you my name if you want to try to call me.
Okay. Doot, 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 doot. Let's message. We're gonna enter that. You. Click on you. There we go.
Okay.
And now how do I...
Okay.
That's a video call. Is video call the only option? That'll be really laggy.
No. No, there's supposed to be a voice call.
That'll be really laggy.
Why is there not a voice call? Like,
I don't know. I don't do Google. I'm on Discord. I'm the Discord guy.
yeah.
I'm gonna click the friend icon. Nope.
What the hell?
I'm gonna do it and then like immediately close my camera.
Yeah, we could just do that, like disable the webcam and just have it being a video call. Maybe that won't lag too bad.
All right, close that. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up on Discord and we can try that.
Ring ring. That is so loud. Oh my gosh.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I don't see you, so perfect.
Awesome.
I'm gonna block my camera too.
All right, and
All right.
Everyone here in
Hopefully
chat,
that will work better.
It looks like the audio is good.
Yeah,
all right. Now
sounds good on my end.
Back to the chess.
Open up Streamlabs. Okay, yeah. All right. Sorry, everyone, about that diversion. But, okay. So you can see in the study, like you can see as I'm moving through the moves, right?
I could before. I hope I can now.
I'm not right now, but
okay.
Sorry, my computer's lagging now. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the engine. That'll probably help. Okay.
You know what we should have done in hindsight? I should have let
that?
you call on your phone, so that way it wouldn't lag your computer. That usually works really well.
Yeah, I thought about that, but then how do I get your audio on my stream?
Oh yeah. Never mind. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a way to do it. I just couldn't think of a way quickly. So.
Just kidding.
So anyway, I'm going back a few moves. Mm-hmm. So like this is the Sicilian, as I was saying, mm-hmm. And I don't know if you have on the right sidebar. If you look at the very bottom of the right-hand bar, there's a little book button at the bottom, and if you have that open, it's going to show you what's called the opening book, which shows what moves have been played in master level games.
Okay, so this is like a database of games?
Yeah, this is just a database of games. And if you click on the little gear icon next to the database there, I would just make sure you have it set to where it's showing you the master games, not the Lead Chess games, because the Lead Chess games is just showing you like amateur games, but the master games are more useful.
Okay, so the settings icon, masters, all set.
Right. So if you see in this position, it says B20 Sicilian defense, and then it shows you the most popular responses for white after that. So this is a nice way to sort of try to start figuring out openings. So,
awesome. How do I get here? How do I get to the study of my game? How do I review my games?
Oh, well, the opening book will actually show up on like a regular game. If when you end the game, mm-hmm. There's a button that'll say like analysis board. And if you go to the analysis, then you'll have all these same options.
Cool. I can now review my game.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a great tool to use. Hey, Mad Quick, how's it going? Yeah, this is Clossius, who's a one Don player in Go. So we haven't quite figured out what the Go to chess equivalency is, but he's a very strong Go player. I'm thinking that it's the equivalent of like a 21 or 2200 FIDE,
I
but I'm
think
not
it's
100%
21,
sure.
2200.
Yeah.
So the highest, if we'd use ELO and Go, I think the highest would be like 35, 3600, something
Oh
around
shit.
there in
we
Go.
don't have we don't have that strong in
Yeah,
chess.
I don't know what you have in chess. But that's because there's like professional exams. Like you can get from 1 dan to 9 dan
uh,
amateur, but then you have to like beat all the other 9 dans in a tournament to become professional. And so it goes from, I don't know. You can probably go up to like 35, 3600 and go.
yeah. Wow. I mean, like the best player in the world in chess is like 28 something. He's like low 2800s, I think.
Uh,
He's been as high as like 2880, but I think right now
we
he's
have
like
also like about 40, like 40 something ranks.
yeah.
So I don't know how many ranks there are in chess. If for every 100 points, if there's a rank, we probably go from like 30 -30 to 9, and then 1 to 9 professional. So that's 40 something ranks.
Gotcha. There are ranks in over the board chess, but I have not really played over the board chess, so I'm not too familiar with them. But they're sort of informal. It's like class A, class B, class C, class D. I just don't know what all the cutoffs are.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I just consider myself a black belt and go. Like that's the closest equivalent I have. That's easiest to explain.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
black belt.
So anyway, yeah, Mad Quick. The point of the stream is I'm gonna help him learn chess, and he's gonna help me learn Go. So we're still in the chess portion. He just played his first game. We're gonna look over. So Mad Quick, if you want to help me analyze this game, I would appreciate it. Mad Quick is another strong player.
Awesome.
I think
Someone
he's
told
just
me
short of the NM
someone told me in my chat
rank.
on Go ratings the highest ranked player in Go is 3748.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it's just an arbitrary number, but it's just interesting that like I'm assuming it's a similar like ELO
Yeah,
system.
it's ELO. It's an ELO
Yeah.
system, but I don't know the math behind it.
Right. Okay, so anyway, you can see on this game the most
Mm-hmm.
common move for white in this position would be knight f3. Um, but
Okay.
what you did, knight c3, is fine too. I don't really know it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm getting
is it?
you're
It
calling
says
my
it in
phone.
32,000, so I'm in the top. Like, I mean, it's not 400,000, but I don't know. I can't show it on my chat
Yeah,
because
no,
I
I mean
cropped it too much.
this is like yeah, this is perfectly acceptable
Okay.
opening play. Like this is completely standard. But
All right. Master level play already. Two
right.
moves in.
So and then knight c6.
Okay. And
Oh,
then
interesting, Mad Quick. I don't know the close Sicilian at all, so he's helping me with this. But knight c6 was correct from him, and then you played knight f3, which I mean, it makes total sense to me, even though it's not the most popular move. It's the fourth most popular move, but you see, like, there's still 3,000 games compared to 7,000 for G3.
I don't
Um,
understand what G3 does.
so G3, this is sort of a common structure where your bishop's going to come. This is called fianchettoing, when your bishop moves to either G2,
Mm-hmm.
B2, B7, or G7.
I thought you didn't move the three side pawns on both sides in the opening.
I guess this is sort of an exception. Like it's usually okay to fianchetto the bishop. I mean, if you think about it, you know, the bishop is a diagonal piece, so it's often going to be
Yeah.
really strong on the longest diagonal on the board. So in general, yeah, you don't want to move all of the pawns in front of your king, but
Mm-hmm.
one pawn is usually okay.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
if I move that pawn, then I'm likely not going to castle on that side,
no,
basically.
you would still castle over there.
Oh.
So I mean, we can even play out like, okay, what's like the most common line in this game? Sorry, I'm gonna have to play it kind of slow because my computer's chugging a bit. But so yeah, you can see G6 was black's most common response. White fianchettos the bishop. Black fianchettos the bishop. I assume D3 now. Let's just go with this knight f3 variation just to show you kind of the common structure. Um, and let's say black goes knight f6, and then now you both sides could castle. So I mean, this is a pretty common structure for a castled king behind a fianchettoed bishop like this.
Okay. I keep thinking you're saying Finochetti or something like that.
Fianchetto or fianchetto. It's an Italian word, so I guess it depends on your
I was
pronunciation.
gonna call it the cheese bishop.
Cheese bishop.
I'm not gonna remember that word, so I'm just gonna. You can put your cheese bishop on right here.
Yeah. Oh, that word. Well, I mean, whatever helps you remember it. So yeah.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what word you're saying.
Yeah. Offbeat opener in my chat says, yeah, fianchetto is the Italian word for flank. So you're flanking your bishop. Yeah.
Oh, flank
That's
bishop. Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense.
Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty common structure. So I wouldn't be afraid to do that in the opening. Um, and yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to remember what you did here. Oh, you did knight f3, which yeah is fine.
Okay.
Let's see, what did he do? E6. I mean, yeah, you can see we're still in very common. Okay, yeah, and d4 was actually the most common move for white here. Um, so that's nice. I mean, I thought this was a pretty typical Sicilian idea, and I think we're sort of transposing from a closed to an open Sicilian.
It says
Oh,
closed range.
Madquick is saying the king's side knight belongs on e2 if you're fianchettoing. Okay,
King
so
side.
that's my mistake.
Wait, you
Yeah,
put it on
so
E2? I thought E2 was not good.
well, Madquick knows more opening theory than me, so
Uh,
I'm gonna defer to him.
I guess my question is, what is so? I can so the book is really helpful for me learning an opening, but I guess I don't really understand the reasons why. What is like my reasons that I should be thinking about in the opening?
Well, I mean, you sort of alluded to it earlier. I mean, the main thing in the opening is you want to get your knights and bishops out, you want to castle, and sort of your final step usually is connecting the rooks, meaning that the rooks can directly see one another. There's no pieces in between them, and ideally you're centralizing the rooks, or at least putting the rooks on open files. So usually your opening moves are sort of centered around those ideas. You also usually want to be fighting for the center. So
Mm-hmm.
putting pawns in the center is, also very good. Yeah, controlling the center, as Mad Quick
So
says.
correct my thought if I'm wrong, but my thinking right now is knights and bishops are to get out in the center to get active in the center, and then you move your rooks together so that way you can control like two files, and then you use your pawns in the center to try and sacrifice a pawn to mess up their position. Is that correct? Theoretically.
Well, not necessarily the last part about trying to sacrifice a pawn to mess up their position. I mean, your pawns are really sort of what you use to control space, and so like for example, in this position, e6 or d6 rather, which I just circled on the board,
Mm-hmm.
is a hole. What's considered a hole for black because he doesn't have any pawns that can defend that square. So you know, I'm not saying it's necessarily right in this context, but sometimes you might think of like pushing e5 so that you've got direct control over that, and then maybe you can maneuver a piece into e6 into d6, and he can never kick that piece out with a pawn because all of his pawns have moved past that square. Um,
Oh.
so yeah, your pawns are more about controlling space, um, and securing squares for your pieces than they are for trying to mess up your opponent's structure. I mean, sometimes you can use pawns in that way, but I think that's a little more rare. Um, but it's not wrong. It's just not as common.
Okay.
Uh, Um, so yeah, again, I'm not advocating these moves in this position. That's just sort of an idea maybe.
Okay.
And then you also said bring your rooks together, and that's not necessarily true either. Really, you just want your rooks on the open files, which often will be the D and E files, so the
Mm-hmm.
two central files. So maybe your rooks will be together in the central files, but
Oh.
in some other openings, maybe the C file is going to get open, maybe the F file is going to get open. So really, it's more about getting your rooks on files where they're going to be useful, where when the pieces move out of the way, there's no pawns, or at least none of your pawns in the way. So those rooks are going to be
Yeah,
they're going to have an
I didn't
active
know
role. They're
that
going to put pressure on the opponent.
I didn't know about open files until today.
Yeah, so that's a very useful concept.
Okay.
So, okay. So, yeah, we're doing great so far in this game. He took, which makes total sense. You took with the knight, which is the only move because you take with the queen, you're going to lose your queen. And let's see, he played knight f6. That's makes total sense to me. You played bishop e3, which isn't super common. I didn't hate bishop e3. I mean, I think at your level, unless there's like a tactical reason not to play it, I don't see a problem with this move, even if it's not super popular. The only thing you have to watch for, I guess, is maybe his knight will try to harass your bishop, but you've got that square controlled with your queen right now, so I don't think it's really an issue.
They were saying so the recommended move was to move the d4 knight to b5, but doesn't a pawn just immediately kick that out with by moving up one at a6?
Yes, but I believe the idea here is if you make this maneuver, he can try to kick you
Oh, there's a
if he
flank
wants,
or a fork.
but there's now we're talking about the hole on or d6 again.
Oh, there's a fork. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of a fork. Actually, I think a6 is a mistake for black. I think black, if you play knight, I'm guessing if you play knight d to b5, black has to play d6 so that he's protecting the d6 square. Yeah, so you see the most common move is d6. So now you can't go here because his queen and his bishop defend it. But yeah, that's sort of the idea, is to key in on that hole. This is sort of a more advanced opening, I think. I mean,
well, aren't they all probably?
You know, this kind of breaks some opening principles where the knight's moving twice in the opening, but since you're creating a threat, it's okay.
Yeah.
But in general, you want to develop all your pieces. You don't want to be moving the same piece over and over again in the opening.
That's one thing I'm worried about if I follow the book. I like I don't even know the opening theories yet. Do I really want to be playing the exact moves right now, or does it matter?
You'll get differing opinions. I mean, my opinion is stick with opening principles, and if you want to learn openings, learn like a few moves of an opening, but don't get bogged down in learning many variations. Not yet.
Okay.
But I mean, like I don't really know openings that well. I mean, I know basic stuff, but like, okay, this is a Sicilian, which I play a lot, but it's already a different move order than I've seen. So like, I don't know this opening.
I've had some,
even though this is like a pretty common opening.
I've had some chess players tell me that if I want to get good at chess, just pick an opening and memorize every variation in that opening. And I'm like, well, that's probably
I think that's
way,
fair.
Technically.
I mean, I think that's fair, and I mean, there's certainly a place for that. I just think at the beginner level, that's a bit excessive. Like, I think you just want to get your fundamentals down first, and then you can start learning specific openings. But yeah, Akash in my chat says those players might not be very good. How's it going, Akash? Thanks for stopping by. Akash is the national master I was telling you about, who I played Go with last night until like 5 a.m.
Oh wait, okay. Is that streamer that you mentioned?
Yeah, and he's a great streamer. So yeah, you should definitely follow him, and I'm sure he's going to be interested in.
Him. I think I followed him. I clicked the follow button. I was going to hit him up to see if he wanted to do a collab stream sometime in the future.
Yeah, I won't speak for him, but I'm guessing he'll be interested in collaborating on Go. So.
I did follow him though. I followed him as soon as you gave me the link.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, now we're back to what actually happened in the game. Bishop e3. I mean, again, I think at this level it's completely fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he played g6. So yeah, he's going for that fianchetto.
The flank.
Bishop structure, which he played.
Bishop flank.
Bishop flank, yeah. Yeah, and in my chat, I don't know if you saw, but Akash says he'd love to collaborate. He was watching your beginner tutorials on YouTube last night and today.
Oh, really? So. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I recommended your tutorials.
I'll send him a message so I can have a chat up to talk later. Or actually, I can't apparently. Tell him to or actually, you can hear me. Hi, Akash. Yeah. Forgot about that. Just send me a message on Twitch and I'll check it out later. Just say hi on Twitch, and then we can have a conversation later, or join.
Yeah, he's on Discord too.
Okay, so I'm Clossius.
I'm sure y'all can set something up.
Feel free to message me anywhere, and then I'll chat at you when I can.
All right, I guess I'm going to turn the engine on now, just because I want to make sure I'm not missing stuff. But I think bishop d3 is good too. Again, you're just developing a bishop, getting it out, getting ready to castle. bishop g7. That's that fianchetto structure, the flank bishop.
Okay,
Computer likes.
now that makes a
Sorry, go
lot
ahead.
more sense. Now that you've explained the flanking bishop, now his structure makes sense to me. I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, you can even see like the bishop's going to be good on this diagonal because you've got pieces. You know, the bishop has targets,
Yeah.
so it's this bishop is actually probably going to be Black's best piece in the opening and early middle game because it's a great defender of the dark squares that are kind of weak around the king, and by a weak square I mean that a pawn isn't defending it.
I mean, I lost the game because of that bishop, didn't I?
Yeah, ultimately you did. But yeah, I mean, this bishop's doing everything. It's defending his king side, and it's putting pressure on your pieces, on your knights in the center. And yeah, like that tactical opportunity arose because his bishop was well placed. So, um, okay, you castled here, which is great. And yeah, I don't know if I turned the engine on for me. I don't know if it shows for you as well, but
I see
you can see
stuff
it's
and I don't know what I even see, so I can't tell if it's the engine,
yeah.
the branch of the game. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just
Yeah, the number in the number in the top right, if you see like plus 0.4, plus 0.5, that's the engine guessing at which side stands better, and that means that right now it's saying white's better by about half of a pawn.
Okay, so that's a point system, not a percentage system.
Right, it's a point system.
Okay,
So that
so one thing to know if you ever see that on the OGS on the Go server is that
mhm.
the AI goes by percentage, win percentage. So when it
Okay,
says -1 or +1, that's like 1 percentage point, which is
gotcha,
interesting.
gotcha. Yeah,
So
so
yours
that's
is
pretty different.
pawn points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, he played knight h5, which is an aggressive move, and actually you can see the computer doesn't like it. I mean, again, he's moving the same piece twice in the opening, and he hasn't castled yet, so that's generally not good. And he did it because he's threatening your knight, which we talked about. But you have a convenient way, and I think we even mentioned this during the game. You can defend your knight with bishop e2 because now your queen's defending the knight, and you're also attacking his knight that's sort of out here on a bad square. And sorry, I'm going to turn the engine back off just because it slows down my computer so much.
Okay.
But like if you play bishop e2 and he captures here, then I don't know if you can take this knight right away, but eventually, I don't know. I'm just going to play some moves. Let's say he castles now. If my computer will work. Oh wait, it's white's move.
Yeah.
That explains it. You could even maybe no, you can't take that knight yet. You can take here. Let's say that he castles, and now if you take here, now this pawn structure is bad. Like this is not what you want in front of your king. His king's going to be exposed on this file, on this diagonal that you're already on with your queen. So the knight to h5 probably wasn't really great for him for that reason. But you have to find the move bishop e2 that simultaneously defends your knight and punishes his bad move.
Okay. How can we dumb that down to a hint for me to see that? I feel like that was
Yeah,
a
I mean
lot of
it's
reading
tough.
or calculating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I mean, you had the right idea, right? Because you move the bishop. Well, shit, just a second. You moved the bishop to c4, which discovered the queen's defense. So you had the right idea of moving the bishop. Um, you just didn't pick the best square for the bishop. So the bishop here, I mean, it looks nice. It's out in the middle of the board, but these pawns are in a position to where it's going to be tough for your bishop to really influence the king side much.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing this way. So the bishop might be good on this diagonal one day if his king ends up on g8, but right now it's not so great. And it's more useful in this diagonal where it has an immediate target.
Okay, so poking is better than influence when you have to move.
Well, I mean, not always. I don't want to. I don't want to make that claim.
Okay.
I think just in this case, I mean, like what you did, I don't think is a problem. Like his knight's bad on h5, so I mean, there's a saying in chess that the knight on the rim is dim,
Mm-hmm.
because if you think about how the knights move, like your knight in the center is influencing 8 squares.
Yeah.
And then his knight on, okay, not that one, but this one. And then his knight over here is only influencing 4 squares.
Yeah.
So his knight is just, it's not as potent as your knight. And knights are slow. Like if he wants his knight to start influencing this side of the board, he's got to make a million moves to get it over there. So even if you're not taking out his knight's just not good on h5.
Okay.
So, okay. And I do want to turn on the engine just to see. Yeah, so it still says, a pretty big plus to white. Maybe not quite as big as bishop e2, but still pretty good.
I didn't know that, Kriegers.
Okay.
Someone in chat told me that Catago goes by points, and I didn't know that. It's another AI.
Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Okay. Queen d2, I think looks great. Yeah, I mean, all your pieces are developed. Your rooks are connected. I mean, I think white's just clearly much better here. Black, I mean, this bishop for black is struggling. This knight makes no sense. So, I mean, white's completely crushing it here, I would say. Yeah, unfortunately here you didn't see that the pawn was hanging because you've got 2 attackers to 1 defender.
Yeah, I was too focused on my theories and not enough on seeing weakness, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to miss stuff like that. But Killer Ducky, we haven't done the go part yet. The go part is yet to come. So,
coming soon to a stream
yeah.
near you.
But the move rook from A to D1 makes total sense too. I mean, that's a great square for the rook. He realized his pawn was hanging, so he defended it.
So this one I didn't necessarily need because I don't have an open whatever it's called.
I'm not sure. Let's see what the computer says. It's sort of unclear to me where this rook on the F file is going to be better placed. Because yeah, like the computer for a second was suggesting that you push F4, which is one way to activate that rook, from the square that it's on. You're sort of giving the rook more scope as the pawn moves up the board. But yeah, actually now the computer's saying that the second best move is rook F to E1. Rooks in the center are usually good, but it's a little less clear when both of the files are closed.
Okay.
So usually I try to think about like, okay, which file is more likely to open up for the rook?
Okay.
But it's also nice that, okay, maybe you're defending your bishop. So, I don't know if the bishop's defense is going to be that important, but maybe. So this isn't a bad move by any means. I think that's totally fine. And then I think, yeah, here was sort of where things started getting difficult.
Well, I think I just made a reading blunder, right? Or a calculating blunder?
Well, I wouldn't even call this a blunder. I mean, I think this is just an inaccuracy when you play b3. In chess, we sort of go, there's like 3 categories of errors. There's inaccuracies, which are minor, like maybe a pawn to a half pawn. There's mistakes, which I guess are probably 1 to 2 pawns, and then a blunder would be anything bigger than that. I mean, I think white's probably still better just because black's pieces are kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, you're letting him mess up your structure with this move. And also, I don't know if you know this, we haven't talked about this yet, but bishops are generally considered to be slightly better than knights. And especially having...
I thought that was personal preference.
It kind of is, but most grandmasters, like 99% of grandmasters, are going to prefer bishops. And it's even more true when one side has both bishops and the other side doesn't. Because, by its very nature, a single bishop can only control half the squares on the board. Like, this bishop's only ever going to go on dark squares. So, since he has a light squared bishop and you don't, he has opportunities on the light squares. He can create threats on the light squares, and you're going to have one less piece that can defend those threats because you don't have a light squared bishop.
Okay.
So, usually, in a situation like this, where a knight is attacking a bishop, a lot of times, even though that's an even trade, a lot of times saving the bishop is preferred.
Okay.
But that's sort of one of those trade-offs. Like, maybe you save it, or maybe you've got something better to do. I mean, you don't want to lose it for nothing, but a knight for bishop trade isn't bad. It's just often you want to avoid it.
Okay.
So I think if you had known that, you probably would have played bishop to
I
e2
would
or
have
bishop
played
to f1.
I would have played bishop to b3.
Oh, or
Cuz
bishop b3. Yeah, no, I think bishop b3 is fine too. I mean, I think that's the move I even suggested. Let's see what the engine says. Yeah, it's not as good. Bishop e2, I mean, again, it makes a lot of sense just because you're putting pressure on this knight here. You're threatening to, like, that would be a case
oh, because it's
where,
pressure.
like, if you play bishop e2, then think that's a case where you would be okay with trading the bishop for the knight on h5, because then when he takes back, his king safety is permanently ruined. Like, his king's never going to be safe.
Okay.
So yeah, I know that's sort of, you know, this is what makes chess kind of challenging, is there's a lot of principles and then you have to know when to break them or when to prefer one to the other.
I
So
mean, I haven't seen more principles than Go has. So to me, Go has
oh
way more
yeah, I'm
principles
sure
than
that's true.
this.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've kind of struggled with is when you start going like 5 or 6 moves deep. I'm like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Go. So, but I mean, I think your experience in Go is going to pay off there. I think that you are used to visualizing a position in depth. It's just you're not familiar with this game, these pieces, these ideas. But I mean, I suspect that you're going to pick that up quickly because you're used to that type of visualization already.
Yeah, for me, it's just figuring out the theories because for me it's hard to with Go you read from shapes that accomplish goals, which are your theories, and basically.
Hmm.
So it's like, what are my theories that I'm trying to accomplish, and then how do I use the moves to accomplish that goal? But if I don't
Yeah.
have like the goal of the turn, I guess I don't really understand what to read, which is why I've
I mean,
started
I think
studying
that's
the theories.
yeah, yeah. I think that's very analogous to chess too. I think that happens in chess. It's just you're new to the game and you don't recognize what sorts of advantages you can be trying to accomplish with a move.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I mean, all that this is a little bit splitting hairs. Like b3 is fine. You're still better. It's just it's a slight disadvantage that you've allowed
Mm-hmm.
black to give you. Um, so nothing serious yet, but that's just one thing to think about. Um, okay, and then here was the mistake of the game: bishop f4.
Yeah.
Um,
This was just not reading
this
deep enough.
yeah, this is just pure calculation because I mean, as I said earlier, you want to look at checks, captures, and threats. That applies to your opponent's moves too, although it's often a lot more challenging to see what your opponent's checks, captures, threats are going to be. But here, I mean, this is a pretty forcing continuation, and this is exactly what happened in the game. He took your bishop. You have to respond. You have to take a piece. So you took with the queen. He took your bishop. Again, you have to respond. And then now this is a
Yeah.
really common tactic.
I didn't
When
realize that after the 4 moves, the bishop was attacking several things. And the pawn, I would have never seen.
yeah,
I would have never
yeah,
seen that pawn.
yeah, the pawn was the problem. And yeah, it's when you have two pieces that are in front of a pawn like that, then they can get forked. So I mean, I'll admit when you played bishop before, I didn't see it because that is several moves deep. Um, but and if it were a longer time control game, you know, you probably would spend more time and have a better chance at finding it. But yeah, I
Well,
mean, unfortunately,
I
he
can
found it,
barely
and
I can barely read forcing sequence, much less read
yeah,
a move that's not obvious 5 moves later. So I
yeah.
think this is just beyond my reading at the moment.
Well, yeah, I think it's impressive that he found it. I mean, he's an 1100 player too. And honestly, I'm not sure that he did find it or if he just started taking things and then when he got to this position, he was like, "Oh, I have a fork." You
Yeah,
know, like
lucky.
he may not have seen it. He may not have seen it at this point, but he probably knew that bishops were better than knights, and he sees in this position he can get both your bishops. So he's like, "I'm going to do that."
Hmm.
And then here he may have noticed, "Oh, there's a fork that just wins a piece." So,
Yeah, and then I
really,
just and then I just fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should even look at the rest of the game from here because, I mean, usually once you're down a piece, if you don't have some compensation, if you don't have an initiative, like you're not checkmating the king, you're not winning your piece back, that's usually game over. At your level, I would absolutely never resign when you're just down one piece.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of analysis, I mean, it's useful to learn how to play down a piece, but it's hard to criticize any of these moves because you're already losing. So it's sort of just a matter of, like I said, it's just a matter of taste. Like what the moves that you need to make are just the ones that make it trickiest for him. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean, again, I think you played really well just and it's a really tough phase of chess that a lot of players have trouble with, where you're sort of transitioning from the opening to the middle game. Gotten your pieces out, you're developed. Now you've got to find a plan. And
Yeah.
I mean, players at you know a lot of levels, high levels even, will struggle in this phase of the game, to find the correct plan. So, um, I think it's encouraging that you played the opening really well, um, and
Yeah.
you'll just have better luck next time
Yeah.
in
I'm
the middle
happy
game.
that I got to 1100. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably fell down from 1100, right?
Maybe. I mean, you probably lost maybe like 5 to 10 points.
Oh, so okay, so I'm
You might have lost a little more because you're when you don't have
I'm
that many games.
1106. I'm 1106
Yeah.
now. I lost 14 points,
Yeah.
but I'm still 1100.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that means, but I'm 1100.
Yeah. Um. Well, do you want to play one more game of chess,
Um.
or did you want to switch to Go? It's totally up to you. I'm completely fine either way.
What would the chat like to do? Would the chat like to see me play more, or do they want to learn? Go ahead and learn Go. Because I'm happy to do either,
What do you
honestly.
guys think? I'm guessing. Yeah.
AGA says, okay, my chat's saying one more game. Okay.
One more game. Okay.
All
No
right.
one's no one's opined in my chat yet, so
Maybe
I
they're
guess one more
just
game it
in
is.
mine right now at the moment. I don't know. All right, so we'll do a
Maybe
15
one.
by 10. I think that maybe they're just in mine. I have a lot of new usernames in mine.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And hi,
yeah. I'm
new
seeing some new
people.
folks in mine too.
I think I'm
All
just
right.
going to do a 1510 rather than trying to.
Yeah, 1510 is great. Let me I need to go back to your user. Hey, Thinker Teacher. This is Clossius, who is a very strong Go player, who's picking up chess. So I think we're going to play one more game of chess, and then I'm trying to pick up Go. So
And
the tables are going to be turned,
I will
and
be
he's going to be
teaching
reviewing my shitty Go games.
I will be teaching the rules of Go, so that will, anyone, even
Yes.
if you don't know how to play, we're gonna start by explaining how to play the game, so that way everyone can follow along. Because I know you definitely have the rules down right now. So but I want to make sure that everyone can be on the same page when we
Yeah,
start going into
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
I
Okay,
think
let me
you've been
get back.
improving at Go faster than I've been improving at chess.
We'll see. I mean,
Wait, what?
last night I don't know. I felt
Okay.
like I was playing well for a while, and then I felt like I started playing terribly. So I guess we'll see.
Well, it's probably just because you play for so late in the night.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like
So
you got another game going.
there,
Sorry, I'm jumping in
there.
now. Ah, so he's playing a common opening that I don't know at all, but I'm sure a lot of folks in my chat know this opening.
Oh, what the crap do I do? Okay, so he's threatening a pawn. I'm defending that pawn though. Uh, um, I'm just gonna activate a bishop. I don't see anything. Oh no, because that blocks a pawn. So I'm gonna move this pawn up. That way I can free a bishop.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know the theory here. This is a common.
Well, thank you, Akash, for the follow. Welcome to the Classy Club. Converting all the chess players to Go players. My master plan is working. Uh,
Yeah, people in my chat, you can probably tell me, but I think taking the pawn would have been the more common move, right?
but that was a pawn for a knight, right? Oh no, I get his knight too. Oops,
Yeah.
my bad.
No, I'm saying not in this position. Now you want to save your
Yeah.
knight.
No. I know.
Yeah.
So if I move there, knight, boom, boom, and now I can't capture it. But if I move to b4, he's gonna kick me out with one of the pawns. And then what's my follow up? I think I done goofed. Ooh, I have a plan. It's a bad plan. I'm gonna do it. I think I'm losing, so I'm gonna try to be fancy.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try to be clever because I think I'm behind a little bit.
I think this was too soon to start playing that way. I mean, I think you were worse, but not as. It was too soon to be giving up a piece.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. I mean, there's still a lot of pieces on the board, so it's not over yet by any means. But
I don't have a choice.
it's pretty rare that you want to be down a piece.
If I'm completely honest, I misread it.
Yeah.
If I'm being
Well, that
honest,
happens. That's okay. That's totally fine.
okay. Well, I'm losing.
But again, there's you're down one piece and all the other pieces are still on the board. So um, if you can get your pieces active, if you can generate threats, I mean, you don't have to go all out just yet.
Okay, and you said trading
there's
bishops for knights is not good.
right.
Wheel.
And in general, you don't want to trade pieces at all because you're already down a piece. So the fewer pieces that are on the board, the less attacking chances you're going to have, and the more likely he's going to beat you in an end game.
Okay. Okay.
And let me know if I'm talking too much. I don't want to distract you.
I know you're good. The cat's more distracting me than you are.
Oh, okay.
She wants pets. Okay, so I move. He takes. I take. He takes. I take. He takes. Dang it. So he's got 3 pieces on that square, and I only have. No. I have a pawn. Okay. Reread that. So
I just remembered I gotta go do something real quick, but I'll be back in like 1 minute.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So doot, 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 doot. Haha. So I can do it, right? I hope I'm right. He's a thinking. He's a thinking. Wait, what? Oh, did I miss that? Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm back. Let me see what moves I missed.
I missed the piece. I missed the capture.
Oh, well. This isn't too bad.
Oh, what do I do? Okay, so he's looking at that one, which is hanging. That one. That one and that one. Those two are defended, so I just have this pawn right here. How do I defend this pawn?
Oops.
I feel like I'm in a terrible position. Wait, I can just move the pawn. Why didn't I consider that? Okay, so let's say I move the pawn and then he jumps in. Then my queen is targeted. That's targeted, but that one's defended. So I can just move the queen out of the way. Yeah. But if I move the pawn, then he can start trading crap. If I move the pawn up, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, he takes. That's not good. Da, 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 da. Okay, but if I take this pawn and he takes that pawn, that should be an even trade. No, because that knight's defending that pawn. I don't know how to defend this pawn. Okay, so that pawn's got to go. So I need to worry about this pawn. So what if I don't know what to do. Let's just go here.
Yeah, it was a tricky pawn to defend.
Let's go, players. Don't get fancy, Clussy. Hi, Peyton.
I think your move's okay.
Yay. And then I just moved this up, I believe.
Thinker Teacher, that's his Twitch name too. Clossius. He's both.
Yeah.
He's Clossius everywhere.
You can
At least
watch
everywhere that I know of.
You can watch the multi-stream.
Yes, and there's a multi-Twitch, which I don't know exactly how all that works, but
Hold on. Dude, multi Twitch.
Are you gonna post it in my channel? Because I need to. Did I VIP you yesterday? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
hold on.
then I think you can post.
Gotta get the cat out of my arm now. Why doesn't it work? Whatever. Can someone type it for me so I can copy paste it? My command isn't working for some reason. I must have misspelled the command. Oh, it's multi-stream. Copy. And then in your chat. And we are just going to... Okay, got it. I got the rules. I know the terms of service. I don't, but you know, who cares?
God, it got deleted.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I got deleted. I always get blocked in your chat. I get banned in your chat more than anywhere else.
Okay, thanks, Alonzo. You can think about chess. We got it.
Okay. I don't know if that's good. Wait. Doot, doot, doot. Haha. Wait, it's no. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I can do this because I have a knight.
Very good. I think you could have taken with the knight also, but both moves work.
Oh yeah, because the bishops. You said bishops are more valuable than knights. Oops.
Thanks, Squirrely. I'm going to give full credit to Clossius for it. I mean, this was completely his idea, but I've been enjoying it so far. Hopefully, the go part's going to be fun. Although I'm going to be embarrassing myself, I'm sure.
Yeah, they wanted. Whoa.
It'll be fun. Whoa. Okay. Now we're talking. Now we got some good stuff.
He didn't. I don't know what that was. He didn't see his knight or my knight.
He forgot your knight. I think he thought that you were just going to trade queens. Yeah, Squirrely, it is kind of nice that I get a little bit of a break while we're doing the chess portion.
Okay, so he's targeting my queen because my queen has the what do you call it? King holding it in place or whatever. What is that called? Would they attack a piece that's right in front of your king? But
I don't know if I know what you're thinking of. I mean, I know what you're saying. I just don't know that there's actually a word for it.
A pin.
Pin, yes.
He's trying to pin
you are in a bit of danger here because of this pin.
But I'm going to
this idea of a pin.
I'm going to do this.
Yep, that's exactly what I would have played. Well, yeah, I mean, this is a really rare instance where he can answer your check with a check, but I don't think it's such a big deal.
He can? What?
Yeah.
How does he answer?
We'll see if he finds it.
Check.
Well, he has to get out of check.
Oh, not on this turn. Okay.
No.
I was like,
turn.
what? What magic sorcery are you about to see?
you're. I meant exactly what you thought. He can get out of check and put you in check in one move on this turn.
Oh, you meant my move.
No, I mean, okay, he didn't find it. We'll talk about it after the game.
Okay. I have no idea what you're on about. How do I get the horse and bishop out of my crap? I can move that pawn up. And he can move his knight to that square, which targets the queen. So he can move his knight. Oh, I can still be pinned. That is bad. Dang it. That bishop and knight's messing me up. Oh, you were talking about moving his knight in front of my queen, because that would counter check.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. I gotcha. Okay, I need to get this queen out of here because his knight and bishop keeps pinning my king. Okay, so it can move there. That means I can't move the queen there, but I can move it there. Oh, what do I do? Why did I get this queen out of here? Let's see. That square. What if I just move the queen down to e7? If I move it down to e7, no, that's blocked by the knight. Dang it. Oh, forget it. I don't know what else to play. No. I'm still good. I don't see anything.
He
Yeah,
he
I
actually has
do.
a really good move here, but I'm not
There's
sure if he's
still
gonna
a
find it.
freaking. There's a. I don't know. I don't think this is a turn, but he can still get my queen.
Yes, he can. What move are you seeing?
E5.
Yeah, knight to e5 is a good move for him. He didn't find it, but
Uh,
you're still in quite a bit of danger. That looks like a good move to me. Yeah, so this tactic that he has lined up is called a discovered attack. So when his knight moves, there's a discovered check from the bishop on the king. So essentially his knight's getting two moves. He's getting a free move with his knight
okay, so I should just move my
because you're gonna have to
king.
respond to the check.
I should just move my king, but I can't.
That's the problem. This is sort of an interesting position where the only legal move your king has is still in you're still lined up for the discovery. Yeah, Majestic Corgi, he can't go to that square because the knight's attacking it.
I mean, that helped a little bit. All right, if I take this pawn, is there still a discovered blasted attack? Because this discovery crap. Listen, I never liked the Discovery Channel. I mean, some days I had a mood for it, but usually no. Okay, I think I'm good.
Yep.
All right, so now he doesn't have the dark squares. Now I can move this guy out. No, I can't. No, I can't. Because if I put him in check, he'll just move a pawn up. And that's protected by both the knight and another pawn. Alright, I want to move my rook to d1, but I can't. How do I get those things out of there? I need a fork or a discovery as well. How do I do? How do I do? Ooh, what about... Crap. B6 still gives him a discovery, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Because, yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
That works, right?
I think so. It looks good to me.
Uh-huh. And then I move a pawn. Man, that took forever. They were annoying. Oh, crap. That pawn
Yeah,
was
unfortunately,
that pawn was
that
stupid.
pawn was not well enough supported.
That pawn was stupid. All right, I'm getting on a dark square. I want to get on a dark square. Okay. Oh, I should have castled.
Well, you're actually it's not legal to castle when you're in check.
Wait, you can't?
Yeah, when you're in check, or you can't move the king through a square that would be in check.
Oh.
So if you're, yeah, you actually were not legally allowed to castle in that position.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's an important one to know.
Okay. This is really dangerous because my queen's on the line of his king, but I can't get the bishop or knights at the moment. Ooh, I know. I have a move. I have a move to break that little formation apart. I go here. Well, there went that idea. Crap, my pieces are all trapped. I'm gonna do the bishop cheese flank thing.
The fianchetto?
Yeah. Gonna be the French bishop.
Actually, the French bishop refers to something else in chess,
Oh my
so you can't use that one.
Fine, the cheese flank bishop.
Yeah. There's an opening called the French defense, and you have a bishop that gets not so great, and it's called the French bishop.
Only there's a Japanese word for it, right? Yeah. Oh, shout out. Shout out ClSmith15.
I guess I should shout you out on my channel.
Well, someone requested it in mine.
People need to know where to find you.
Let's just move this bishop. Well, hold on. Is there anything I need to worry about? I don't think so. Wait a second. Did he give me a free pawn? I think he did. Wait. I just realized. My rook. My rook is in a bad spot. I just not...
Okay, that rook has been hanging for like 5 moves and neither player saw it. So.
Your chat must be yelling at me.
No, they're being polite.
I just noticed.
Yeah, you're quite lucky he didn't see it, because he would have a decisive advantage if he had taken your rook.
Whoopsies. Yep, we suck. Just throwing that out there. Tactics are more important than theory at this level. Being able to see captures, yeah. I mean, that's why I was doing the problems. That's why I do problems. I mean, I want theory and problems, so I can see captures and kind of know what to do with the pieces.
Yeah, whoever said that in your chat's absolutely correct. That at this level, tactics is going to decide almost every game.
Which Joseki is this? No. I don't think this is one. I mean, I think probably he needs it more than I do, right? Because he lost his queen super fast. But we both need it. Hold on.
Unfortunately, he found a tactic this time.
Ow. Yeah, you know how I took that pawn? Mistakes were made. Oh my gosh. There's only one. I might lose. I'm up 3 pawns, yet I'm gonna lose.
You're up 3 points at the moment.
Yeah, but as soon as he takes the queen, I'm now losing by 5.
That's the problem.
I'm gonna lose.
If he sees that, which he wouldn't have played knight c1 if he didn't see it. But he's blundered pretty badly already in this game, so I mean, anything can happen.
Alright, where am I weak? Is anything weak? I don't even know. I can't even tell if anything's weak. Can anything be captured on this turn? I don't... He can capture a pawn. So I should move this rook up 1. So that way to defend that pawn. Is that even important? Will I give him a flank? Yeah, kind of, whatever. Who needs good strategy?
I think that's a better move than defending the pawn. I think that was a good move.
Yeah, he did move his horsey out, so now I can start attacking the center.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, like, your threat was more important than his. Okay, you're low on time, so I'm not going to talk.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Totally planned.
This, no offense, but this game is like vintage low-level chess. Like it's swung back and forth so many times. I mean, I'm sure this happens in Go too, but
I mean, I will say it can be stressful watching beginners play.
yeah.
When you like the more you know what you're doing, the more stressful it is to watch beginners play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely true of chess too.
What if I go?
Don't watch my games then, Jeg Haran plan. He said there's nothing more stressful than watching total. Okay, you got 5 seconds.
Oh.
Right.
I need the ear. I need the sound to tell me how much time I have.
Yeah, there's no countdown, unfortunately.
I don't understand. That's like a major oversight. There should be a countdown. At least it's sudden death or something, right? Should be a countdown saying like 10, 9, 8. I feel like it's a major oversight with the clock system.
It's funny, all the chess players that were watching Go yesterday were like super annoyed by the lady on OGS counting down.
Really?
Yeah. Very good.
See, I can't play a game without hearing the clock or I'll time out because I never look at the clock. I
Yeah.
always listen so I can keep my eyes reading while I'm listening. And it uses like 2 senses at once. So I like trained myself to do that. So for me it's like really really hard to not have a clock. There's no bad side to this, right?
This is actually a super interesting endgame. Like, I don't know who should be winning. It's very close. You don't often see these types of imbalances at higher levels where one side has 2 rooks and one side has 3 minor pieces. 10 seconds. There you go.
Yeah, you be my clock. 10,
Yeah.
9, 8. I will do so much better with that. I'm just going to keep trying to get pieces because I don't see an immediate checkmate. Because my rook, unfortunately, is buried.
You're probably not going to checkmate him. I mean, this is probably going to come down to who can promote a pawn.
Really?
Yeah, just because... Okay, I'm not going to talk during your turn. There you go. Yeah, I mean, when there's... You have 2 rooks, so you might can checkmate him, but the fewer pieces on the board, the harder it is to checkmate, for, fairly clear reasons, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is what would definitely count as an end game, and usually it comes down to who's going to queen their pawn first. Because once you get the extra queen, then you can checkmate pretty easily.
Okay, so I have a plan to get a queen then. It's horse, then bishop, then queen. That's my plan. Okay. First the horsey. Any downside? Oh yeah, time.
Very good.
I can't just think it through and then get my time back. That stresses me out so much. That
I mean, now you should be completely winning.
It stresses me out so much that I can't just think through my moves and just still have time left over. Okay. Whatever. I don't know if I'm doing good or bad. still don't know if I'm doing good or bad.
Just don't hang stuff. That's the most important thing.
I
Don't
want to
hang
look
things.
for I want to
Yeah.
look for like any sort of fork or magic thing that you said, but I can't
Right.
do it in enough time. Just get the bishop out. Oh,
Ooh.
dang it. Mother flower.
It's okay. You're still completely winning. It's a little harder now, but you're completely winning.
I hate not being able to think. All right, so I get 10 seconds back, right?
Yeah, you get 10 seconds after every move.
4, 5. So I'm at least gonna think for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mostly I'm just trying to see if there's any problems with my move before playing it. Okay. I don't know what to play. One. I'm scared. I'm gonna move it over.
No bouncing. This is Clossius playing a random person on Chess that's around his rating.
Why? Oh, he gets my pawn. But I'll get your dude. And then I'll be ahead. If I get his horse, I think I can win. Stop it.
Those knights are tricky. Bouncing, I think we're going to do the Go section after this game. I think probably we'll review this game and then play Go. I think that's the plan. Don't hold me to that.
Seriously? Ugh. Alright, I've almost got a minute back.
Yeah, that's at least good. I mean, you can take a little more time to think now. Good. You're in great shape now.
He just keeps check, and I can't do anything.
Right. Now his knight's far away, though, so you're going to have a bit of a reprieve. Yeah, very good. This is another one of those trade-offs. Like, he might be winning your pawns over there, but you're going to queen way before he does.
Yeah.
But this is kind of all he can go for at this point. Oh, sorry, bouncing. I think we're gonna switch to Go after we review this game.
Ooh, I have time now. Use it. Well, now I'm just like, get the queen, get the queen, get the queen, get
Yeah,
king.
I mean now you're completely winning, but I mean, you know, still think about your moves, think what you're trying to achieve. But
I'm just thinking, get the queen.
Yeah, have you studied like basic checkmate pattern? Like, have you studied how to checkmate with a king and a queen?
I'm not getting a draw. He's trying to.
He offered a draw.
He offered a draw.
Yeah, people do this all the time.
No.
All right, he resigned.
Yay!
I don't know why people do that, but people love to offer a draw like right before they know they're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's like stupid though. You're like, oh, instead of resigning, we're gonna try to trick you into a draw.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, very good game. I mean, that was a really entertaining game just because both sides had a lot of chances. I mean, you found the moves that you had to find, and he didn't.
So
Or at
I
least,
think the big thing to take away from this game is I need to see captures better.
yeah. I mean, the checks and the captures are the biggest thing that you're gonna have to work on. But that's everybody at your level. I mean, that's just how chess is. But there's a saying in chess that the person who wins is the one who makes the second to last mistake, and I think that like totally applies to this game. So I mean, you did a good job of you know not making a mistake at the end of the game and punishing his mistakes. So let's look at this game. There's a lot to look at in this game. This one was a lot more sharp than the previous game.
There's a lot of oops. I think a lot of like you could have captured here for the
Yeah,
next
I
five
mean
moves.
there were some kind of complicated tactics that both sides missed, I think. So I'm gonna do another study. I'm gonna send you
Okay,
the link.
I feel like I
Um,
missed like if capture is like the equivalent to an Atari, I think I missed Ataris like 5 or 6 times at least.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess a capture is roughly equivalent to an Atari. I guess an Atari is more like a threat, right? But
Yeah,
it's
you're
similar,
about to lose some pieces.
right? Similar thought process though. So okay, I guess I'll send you this link on Hangouts. I guess I
Okay.
don't know what's easier. I don't know if you still have Discord open, but yeah, I'm gonna send the link on Hangouts.
Doot, doot, doot. And bring it over here. Pull it up here.
Yeah, Jeg Haran plan. There were a lot of tricky knight moves at the end of the game. Even in the middle game, there were a lot of tricky knight moves. This is why a lot of times, like I told you, beginners, or I said bishops are generally better than knights. A lot of beginners prefer knights because the knight has a lot of trickier moves, and the bishop's okay. He moves in a straight line on a diagonal. The knight's a lot trickier, so you will eventually get used to knowing
I mean,
like these are squares that the knight can fork. These are squares that the knight can get to in 2 moves.
yeah,
These are the squares they can get to in 1 move. Like you'll start to just see that stuff automatically.
yeah. Papa Snake, yeah, I know that's what Atari. I just mean I missed that I was about to be captured. I guess.
Right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is a very common opening. Um, Again, I don't really know it at all because I don't play e4 as white, and when I'm black and they play e4, I don't play e5.
Oh,
But this
really?
is the Scotch game, which is very very common.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was pretty sure that black basically has to take, and you can see in the database like virtually all the games black's taking. And the reason is because of what happened in the game. When you didn't take, he gets to push his pawn to d5, and now your knight's unsettled, and there's not really a good square for the knight. So,
Ew.
I mean, you mentioned b4, but I think you correctly noticed that he can just push a pawn, one of these
Yeah.
pawns, and then the knight has to go to like a6, which is just ugly. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I agree that b4 is not a good option. I mean, I was thinking maybe the best is just to go to e7 and then g6 on the next move. Um, you really don't want your knight on e7 either because this knight might want to go to e7. This bishop might want to go to e7. So the knight's kind of just in the way
Yeah.
on e7. So I mean, that's why a lot of times when there's tension between pawns like this, um, when the pawns are attacking each other, I guess I should back up to when it was your move. You kind of have to calculate a few different scenarios. You have to calculate, okay, if I take, what's he going to do? You have to calculate if I ignore it and then he takes my pawn, what's going to happen? Or if I ignore it and he pushes, what's going to happen? So I think the last one is maybe what you didn't think about here, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean yeah, you're already in pretty rough shape, I think, at this point. Well, I mean, you definitely are here, but even at this point,
Isn't that bad, huh?
yeah. Okay, I mean, the computer's saying plus 0.7. I mean, the computer in the opening isn't necessarily the most reliable, but yeah, I wouldn't be happy. I mean, white has a lot of space in the center, which is good. Your pieces are going to be awkwardly placed. Um, so yeah, I think you were correct to realize that your position is suboptimal here, but um, and I think you said you just forgot that the pawn was attacking the knight.
Yep. Totally
But
forgot that little
yeah, yeah.
detail.
So I mean
I'm like,
that
okay, I'll
happens.
go here. He'll defend, and then I'll take his knight, move his queen out of the way, and then I can move my knight, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah. I forgot that he
yeah.
gets
I
to
mean,
capture with the pawn.
Bishop G4 it's a nice idea. I mean, you see this in a lot of openings where knights end up on C3 and F3 a lot, and then often this bishop might pin the knight to the queen, this bishop might pin this knight to the king. So I mean, this is a common idea in the opening. What you did, it just you had a piece hanging, so you can't do it yet.
Oops. Yeah.
um,
Oops.
but I mean, like I said, there's so many pieces on the board. This is a beginner game. Like anything can happen. It's far from over, as you saw. Okay, he attacked your bishop. You move back. I'm not sure, but I probably would have played bishop h5 because usually, when one piece is pinning the other, you want to maintain that as much as you can.
Wouldn't that help him develop his next pawn?
Well, that's sort of the question. Is he can play g5 or g4 to break the pin, and the question is that good or bad? Um, the thing is, when he does this, now he's not really safe to castle kingside because his pawns have all moved. Um, he might can castle queenside, but he's got to move all these pieces first, and you've also got the open b file, so his king might not be safe on the queen side either. I mean, that said, your bishop is getting kind of trapped here. I mean, he can even win your bishop right away for the knight. So I'm just not sure. I mean, I think what you did is okay. I think I mostly just wanted to point out this idea of just backing the bishop up, maintain the pin.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I don't think what you did is like terrible or anything. So knight c3 was played. Yeah, d5 unfortunately just gives away a pawn and gives his knight a lot of initiative. But yeah, I think the bigger problem than the pawn is just the fact that now his knight is all up in your face.
Yep.
And this pawn is very awkward to defend.
I feel like when I make a mistake, I immediately follow it up with more mistakes because I start losing track of stuff.
Oh, I hung a piece in my analysis, so sorry. He still could have played g4. I forgot that he can't play knight g4. I hang pieces sometimes too. So okay, so in my chat, someone's asking if queen d6 works here. Yeah, I think queen d6 is probably okay. I think I would be worried that he's just gonna support this knight, maybe, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's tricky to defend this pawn. Queen d6 is probably fine. Let's see what the computer says here. I was thinking that the best plan. The problem that you have here is that your king is in the center of the board. You really want your king to get castled quickly. So I was thinking the best plan was to defend your pawn with knight to e7, and then you could play g6 and make this structure and then castle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because the knight here, I'm not sure you realize that there's that this pawn has a lot of pressure on it also. So this knight does a good job of defending both points. The problem is it's blocking this bishop, but you can get your bishop out this way. So I think that's how I would have approached this. But
okay,
let's see what the computer says.
that's understandable.
Oh wow, it says white is totally winning. So I missed something. Oh well, white is up a piece. I forgot white's up a piece.
Yeah,
so
it's like,
yeah,
that you should resign. That's
sense.
the correct move. Resign and go try again.
No, I mean, I know that's a joke, but please don't resign like at your level. Like basically never resign. Never resign unless you are like 100% getting checkmated in a move or two. But okay. So you did this, which I mean, you're sort of saying, okay, you can take my pawn, but I'm going to develop my pieces and get active, which is fine. I mean, I think that's a good way to think about this. I think he didn't even take your. No, he did take the pawn. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
And now
realize this
queen.
pawn, and like, there's a lot I didn't realize. There's a lot of problems with
Yeah.
this.
So queen d7, I think looked good at first, but he found the issue with that. Often, I mean, this is sort of deeper, I guess, but when you line your pieces up on a diagonal or a file, I mean, you often have to think about how your opponent can hit both at once. So, I mean, already when your queen is on that square, he's got this idea of bringing his bishop to b5, and then, I mean, this is a big problem for black. I mean, um, maybe you can escape without losing material, but it's very, very dangerous. um, so yeah, I mean, I'm guessing. I mean, the thing is, if you go queen d6, then there's knight b5. I mean, this is why you're already in trouble because there's just not many good options. Um,
Yeah,
I guess maybe queen d7 even has to be played. I don't know if you can do something like queen c8, but let's see.
I'm just in a bad spot.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So it's saying either queen d6 or queen c8. Um, Both are just completely lost. But luckily, he blundered soon and let you back in the game,
Yeah, that
which is
was
gonna
funny.
which is gonna happen a lot in your games. So, um, hey, what's up, Metal Eagle? We're about to switch to Go, I think. So I hope you're interested in Go. Yeah, and then I even for his level, I don't want to be too critical of the guy, but I was pretty surprised that he didn't see knight takes queen. But luckily, you saw it basically immediately. Um, and now he played bishop b5, which is a really nice move. Um, I think a lot of players will just immediately take the knight,
I think you
and
saw
then
that I
you're
would
sort of
capture with the queen if he takes.
yeah, and definitely that's what you should do. But I mean, bishop b5 is like the move to keep things complicated. Actually, I wonder how what this position even is. Yeah, so black's winning, but it's not like crazy winning. Okay, the more it thinks, the more it likes black. There's just so much. Yeah, see, actually, the computer's saying knight takes c3 is basically the only good move for black. In any other move, it's virtually equal.
Wait, but so that's just against the pawn, against the pawns, and opens up the queen's movement.
So actually, the main idea with knight d3 is now okay. He has these knight moves that are scary. Like this one, it looks on the surface like okay, he's going to get your queen, but that's why your knight's on c3. Now you can just take the bishop. Um,
Oh,
at least I. Or wait, I'm sorry, that's not correct. You would take with the queen. But I think that's sort of the main idea of the knight to c3. Um, is now let's see what it suggests for him.
yeah, and then he just
Yeah,
takes
I
with
mean
the
you're
pawns.
basically forcing him to capture. Otherwise, you're going to get his bishop. So I
Yeah,
mean,
and then my queen's free to start coming out.
yeah. I mean it makes sense. Like so. We kind of talked about in the last game you were down material how I said you probably don't want to trade pieces, you want to keep the pieces on so that you have attacking chances.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of the same situation, but in reverse. Now you're up material. You've got a queen. He doesn't. Um, okay, he's got an extra knight and bishop for the queen, so it's kind of close. But you have a big material advantage still.
Yeah,
So
so trades are good.
trading's good for you.
Okay,
But I mean, this is a scary move. I mean, he's lining up a lot of scary stuff, and I mean, I don't
I
it's
didn't
almost
see
tough.
the knight
It's almost
trade.
tough to play. It's almost tough to play knight takes c3 because it's easy to get really worried about
Yeah,
this discovery here.
I just didn't see
So
it.
yeah. So this move, the computer said was completely equal.
Really? He can take my queen though.
Well, no, not immediately. So what I was saying during the game was he could actually play knight e5. I don't know if it's a good move.
Why can't he play a d4 knight d4? Oh, he's in check.
Oh,
Never mind.
Yeah, because he's in check. Yeah, sorry. This position got complicated. So yeah, he can't because he's in check, but actually you like here I think you saw that he could play knight d4, which is a discovered check winning your queen,
Yeah, that's what I remember.
and then you concluded correctly that you needed to move your queen.
And then I moved it to
Um,
another another
yeah, and
spot.
then unfortunately you picked a square which is also able to be attacked by the knight with a
Oh
check.
man.
So I mean, this is kind of what I was saying. Like once you've played a lot of games, you'll sort of instinctively know like, okay, the knight is going to be able to attack that queen in one move.
Yeah, I haven't done enough problems yet. I haven't gotten to
Right?
that. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten to those
Yeah.
problems yet.
Yeah. I mean, luckily for you, he didn't find it. And now I think Queen E4 check is a really good move because you're getting out of that. And this, when you're diagonally 2 squares away from a knight, like that knight's basically never going to attack you. He's got to make like 3 moves before he can ever, oops, dream of attacking you. Um, so that's like a really safe distance from the knight to be, and also you're safe from this knight. The knight can't get to a square right next to it very quickly either. So that looks good to me. He blocked, and okay, you traded pieces, which looks good, unless he has some good discovery, but I don't see it. F takes, and yeah, and then you I think you debated whether or not you had time to do this check, but I think you absolutely do. I mean, it's tough to see at your level, but the knight, it doesn't have a good move where, okay, he has a discovered check, but he doesn't have a move that he's going to attack anything else. I mean, he can grab this pawn. That's like all he can do. So yeah, this was great. I mean, you're completely winning at this point. And you played Queen B6. Yeah, so I think you were really concerned about these pieces, which was good. And you were trying to sort of get rid of them. But I think I would have just moved this bishop maybe to either D6 or C5, because I think the bigger problem is that your bishop and your rook are trapped. You really want to develop those pieces and be able to use them. Um, but that would take a bit of recognition to know that he doesn't have any good tactical opportunities arising from this situation.
Oh.
So let's see what the computer says here. I want to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, I mean, it's suggesting a6, which, okay, makes a little sense, but then it plays bishop d6. And it says bishop d6 is the second move. Black's completely winning either way, but I think that's kind of how you should approach it. When you're up material, you're not in immediate danger. You want to just activate your pieces. But I totally understand why you were freaked out about these pieces. So, okay, so yeah, this, I mean, again, it's not bad. Yeah, he played the discovery, but there's not really, any good discovery he can do. You played King E7, which I didn't like, or you blocked with the pawn, which I also didn't like because it just hangs.
I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it was hanging.
Yeah,
Or that he could just take, and I was like, oh yeah, that was stupid.
right. And then King E7, I didn't like because again, I want you to get your bishop out, and then when your bishop's out, your rook can come out.
So D1's better.
So moving the bishop seems incorrect. So yeah, I would have gone King D8.
But doesn't he get a fork?
And I mean, you do have to.
Well, no, that's a fine fork.
I mean, this one, if that's what you mean, you can just take with the pawn. So no issue there. The move I'm worried about is Rook D1. But I don't know. I mean, this position's tough because it's so wide open. There's going to be a lot of tactics. But I think maybe you can just play King C7 and be okay. Let's see. Oh, I forgot your rook's hanging. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot the rook. I forgot the rook. I forgot the rook was hanging after all this. Yeah, that was actually the bigger problem with the pawn push.
Oh yeah, that pawn did hang that rook, didn't it?
Yeah. So if you just play King D8 now, then there's no problem. He can play Bishop C6, but then you just move the rook. So yeah, actually the pawn
It is a
push was
very
much worse
bad,
than I even realized.
very bad pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, Killer Ducky's right in my chat. He says problem is the situation is just too complicated for this level. And yeah, it is, you know, in an open position like this, it's going to get very complicated. But luckily for you, he didn't notice that your rook was hanging for a long time either.
It's so funny.
Neither player realized for a while, which was kind of fun. Yeah, so you got to save your rook, but you didn't see it. So, yeah, and now I even kind of liked him not taking the rook because now there's threats of moving his knight with initiative. I mean, like he's getting his last piece into the attack. So yeah, I thought White was going to win again at this point. So. And yeah, he's
slow.
actually completely winning now, it says. Yeah, I mean, you're probably just going to get mated or something because your king's way out in the open. But he didn't do it. He gave you another chance. You saw the rook was hanging. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, this is just getting crazy sharp. Like, I wouldn't expect. Like, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm guessing just after bishop b5, he's got a really good move with his knight that's going to be problematic. But saving your rook's good.
And that was an
Taking the queen, yeah, taking the pawn, you can't do. I think you just missed the discovered attack.
I need more discovery problems.
Yeah, and I wanted to point this out to you. Your queen is lost, but you can get something for your queen here, and it's sort of a weird looking move.
E3, E6,
but
E6.
Yeah, queen to E6, and he'll take with his knight, and at least. Oh,
and then
shoot, my computer's getting real laggy. I'm going to turn off the engine. Yeah, so he can take with his knight, but at least you're going to get a knight. So, I mean, you're still in big trouble here. You're down a piece, but
that makes sense.
It's better. At least you're getting something back. Okay, he took the queen, and now, I mean, he should just be totally winning. In fact, I'm trying to remember how he even managed to get into the situation he got in from here. You developed your bishop attacking his knight, which was good. You defended your pawn, which was good.
And then my king got in a little cool spot there.
Yeah, I mean, this looks kind of crazy because, I mean, there's still a lot of pieces on the board and your king's way out in the open. Thinker Teacher says King C5 was brilliant, and I kind of agree because because the thing is, even though it looks really insane for your king to be in the middle of the fray like that, you're putting pressure on 3 of his pieces, and none of them are hanging right now, but it's kind of easy for him to make a mistake. And in fact, you're already threatening something. You're threatening
bishop. I don't know to be scared of with the king. I just like, oh, king's like a powerful piece, right?
Yeah.
You get to attack everywhere.
Yeah. But you're threatening bishop takes d3, and then if he takes with the pawn, now this knight can be captured. So yeah, I mean, Thinker Teacher in my chat said King C5 is brilliant. It was a GM level move, not kidding.
And I don't even know. I'm like, oh, cool, I can attack stuff. I think one thing I take from Go is that I always try to defend with a counterattack. Because in Go, it's like the most effective defense.
Yeah.
So that's always like the first thing I look for when
I think that's very good practice. I mean, in chess, initiative is extremely important, and yeah, usually, if a counterattack works, that's preferred to just defending whatever threat is there. Activity is really important. So okay, so yeah, King C5 GM move, and then he hung his rook, which was really, really helpful for you.
Yeah.
You saw the rook was hanging, and now it's like super interesting because material's like almost equal.
Can't he do a fork here?
Oh, yeah, I did. Wait.
No, he can't because I'm defending it with the pawn. Never mind. I always miss that.
Oh, right. I missed this fork. So there were so many tactics in this part of the game that I got confused. But I saw that he could have played this, which doesn't really work. because you can just. Oh wait, you can't walk there. What am I talking about? Oh, let me erase all these if I can. But you can go here defending the bishop. What I didn't see was he also has this fork, which that's a bigger problem.
Oh.
Um, but luckily he didn't see that either. Yeah, and now he's still got these forks.
Then he did it again.
Okay, he took.
He lost both
Yeah, and I mean,
rooks on the
he's
same square.
well. I mean, actually, rook takes bishop isn't a bad move for him
Really?
as long as he sees that he can win his exchange back with one of these moves. Um,
But if he forks on the top, can't I
wait,
just
he dropped the rook.
move my king to defend my rook? Well, I guess rook.
Oh, Thinker. Okay, Thinker pointed out something I missed. I'm sorry. What was your question?
I mean, he took my bishop. I take his rook. He forks. I defend my bishop. He takes my bishop, and then I take his rook.
Okay, wait. I got lost in all that.
I got lost on my own thought. I'm sorry. How do I say? Okay. He go forward. He takes. And
Okay.
then I take. Then he forks.
Which one? Here or here?
Well, yeah. We saw that A6 is clearly better, but I'm saying if he goes D3, then I just go D6.
D3. Okay. Yeah, and then you go
D6.
here.
Yeah, and then he takes, and then I take.
And yeah, and this is like almost equal. I mean, I'm gonna guess the computer's gonna say maybe white's a little better.
Well, I have a rook. Well, so, I guess he has two pieces, and I only have one active piece.
Right. I mean, he has a knight and a bishop, which are worth 3 each. Your rook's worth 5. So, yeah, he's got to be better. And the reason is that he's got actually the c3 pawn. The c3 pawn's passed, which means that there's no black pawn that is ever going to be able to like take it somewhere. That's a really strong thing to have in the end game because that pawn's likely to queen.
I remember reading that
but
somewhere.
It's probably close to equal, but yeah, I'm thinking white. Yeah, okay, so white's definitely got the advantage, but it's still very difficult.
He said someone said I could have taken the bishop and won a piece. How do I do that? You could have taken knight instead of taking knight with bishop and won a piece.
Could have taken knight. Where?
I don't know. Someone just said you could have taken knight with bishop and won a piece.
Knight with bishop. Oh, I think he's talking about back here. Yeah, which someone pointed out in my chat, which I was gonna show to you.
Oh.
Although I think maybe I'm still missing one piece of this because they're pointing out that here. Okay, he did. Wait, where was it?
So if I take right here, if I take the knight, like you said in the previous, like you said it before, if I take the knight, he takes, and then I can take another knight.
Right. Yeah. Wait, Thinker teacher, where are you saying he dropped the rook? Was there ever a moment where like this was an idea? But it's white's turn. Am I wrong? I don't think there was ever a moment. He did play it.
It's too complex. I'm noobing my way out of here.
I want to make sure that I'm not missing something. Because I mean, Tom's a good player. Bishop c6 takes rook e8. Oh, you hung your rook. I completely missed that. Oh my god. What? Yeah, you hung your rook.
Oh.
I completely missed that too.
I suck at this game.
I think I'm getting to the point where
I'm making you worse at chess. That's funny.
Yeah. So he's right. I completely forgot or missed that rook was hanging.
I'm making everyone in the chat worse at chess.
No, I think it's just beginner games in general. Like
there's too much happening.
Well, yeah, and it's just like a lot of times in my games, if my opponent makes a move, I'm not usually thinking, oh, he just hung his rook for nothing. I tend to give my opponents some credit. Like, okay, that move's not, just hanging a rook for
No,
nothing.
ghost coming
So
soon.
I'm not used to like seeing those moves on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is like super interesting because it's 2 rooks versus 3 minors, which I don't think I've like ever seen in a game before. Yeah, and the computer says it's virtually equal if he plays one of these forks, um, which makes sense. And he didn't find it, but he's got another opportunity here. You took the pawn, which is great. Man, I'm gonna have to like second guess myself every move now because there's so much going on.
Way too much for me to handle.
Yeah, I mean, he hung the knight, which was also really nice for you. I'm thinking, I think maybe he thought that you were threatening to take the bishop and then get the knight. But oh, well, I guess you were
Really would have
threatening that,
missed.
so never mind. Was there? Man, during the game, I thought I saw somewhere he could have saved this. He could have gone
Yeah, he can go
here if nothing
a6.
else.
He can go a6.
He can go.
Knight
Oh
e6.
yeah.
That's like the only move, isn't it?
No, because then you take the bishop and then you take the knight.
Oh.
Maybe there is just nothing to do here. I was thinking maybe he could do this, but
So
then
so I
oh yeah,
won.
he can do this.
So I won because of my GM level move, basically.
Right.
King's the most powerful piece in the game, obviously. King and queen, anyway.
The king is actually very important to use in the end game. I think he can do this, and now whichever way you like, you can take the bishop, but he's going to take this rook. Yes, Zeldrak. Sorry, we're about to get to the go.
Oh, that is a nice fork, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oops.
But I want to make sure. I'm so lost.
You
Where's
think
your
you're
comment?
lost? Try being the beginner.
Oh, okay. Tom's right as usual. If you play this fork, you have a move to get out because you have this check.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, we're coming up with into this game. So you got a knight. Now you're completely winning. 2 rooks versus 2 minors is completely winning in the end game. Yeah, and okay, yeah, this is all good. I think here you just weren't really sure what your plan should be, and that's totally
Well,
understandable.
my plan was to get b4 up without dying. And I'm just trying to stay
Yes,
around my rook.
yes. That's absolutely what your plan should be. I mean, your first priority is don't hang a rook. Like, don't let his knight or bishop fork or pin you. Um, and your second plan is you want to run this pawn. You want to run it to b1 as quickly as possible. And actually, king b3 makes a lot of sense because what you would like to do often in these types of positions is get your king to the second rank. Because if you can imagine your king on a2, it controls these squares. And now you're helping this pawn. So, if you get your king there, you're really close to just being able to push the pawn all the way. Does that make sense?
Yes. That was that was pretty much my plan.
Yeah, I think
In dumber words, that was my plan.
yeah. Unfortunately here you just moved your rook to a bad square. But even now it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you're up a rook for a minor piece and you have a pass pawn in the end game. Like, it's still completely winning. I wondered if you should have taken with the pawn just to get the pawn one square closer to queening. But taking with the rook means that his king is never going to get over here. Like, your rook cuts his king off, which happens a lot in the end game. So now his knight is the only piece responsible. His knight's the only piece that can stop this pawn. So either way is probably completely fine. Yeah. I like taking with the rook now that I think about it more. I think that's simpler. So that's what you did. Yeah, I wouldn't do this move. A lot of times in games, checks are not correct. It's more about restricting where your opponent's king can move to. than it is about trying to check them or checkmate them.
Okay.
So here, I mean, I probably would have played
Would,
like rook
in that
all the way
case,
back to c8,
would D4
and
would D4 be good? No, nope, that's a fork. Never mind.
oh, very good. Yeah, yeah. D4 does get forked. You're probably still winning after the fork because the B pawn's really strong. It's really tough for him to stop it. But yeah, I would absolutely keep your rook. Just keep your rook on this file where his king's never going to be able to get over and stop the pawn.
Actually,
So I mean, I would just play rook c8.
would D4 be good? Because if I go D4, he goes C2, I go C3, he takes, I take, and then my pawn's free.
I mean, he's not forced to do that. Is the thing. Like he might want to, but he's not forced to. And I need to do a little calculation to make sure. I mean, this is completely winning. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, your king. The thing is, his king can't get over here quickly enough. Your king's going to box him out. I think. Let me make sure I'm correct about that.
I didn't consider the king.
Yeah.
Doing the king.
Yeah, this is how the game would go. He could try to go here. I think now you would. Yeah, you're going to go here, and then eventually you're going to do this, and then once you get your king here, he can't stop. He has no way to stop your pawn from making these moves.
Cool.
So yeah, this completely works. So I mean, if you had gone rook d4, it's a fine move because he can't take it. Is the long and the short. Like if he goes for this, taking the rook is just suicidal. I mean, realistically, there's no way for him to not lose, but taking the rook is an easy win.
Cool.
But I think on principle, I would just bring the rook all the way back. Your rook's out of danger. You know, his knight can't really attack you. You're cutting the file. Your pawn is, ready to go. And in these types of endgames, it's often useful to think about, can the knight fork my rook and my king? Well, if your rook and your king are far away, they're not going to get forked. And also, here's a little trick that is useful, but you don't have to remember it. The knight can never fork two pieces that are on different color squares.
Really?
Yeah, because the knight can only attack one color square at a time. It's always attacking the color opposite that it's currently on.
That would help so much. Because I can't see
it's a
forks with the knights.
Yeah, it's a nice trick to help you realize what squares are going to be safe. So any light square with the rook is going to be safe.
What's a squad mode? Someone said we're not streaming in squad mode. I don't know what that is.
I don't know how to do that. I think you might have to be a Twitch partner to do that, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I think I remember reading something about how to make teams and stuff you have to be partner.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, all this is fine. I mean, you're not losing the game. It's just you didn't know the winning plan. But I mean, eventually you kind of just survived and you kind of just got the position to where he no longer had any threats.
Yeah,
which is fine.
I mean, that's just survive.
Like if you do that, you're gonna win. Like sooner or later, he's gonna run out of threats and you're gonna win.
Oh, my new emotes are here.
Oh, nice. So yeah, honestly, you might be a little bit lucky that he just resigned and didn't make you prove that you could mate him. But I mean, you would have gotten it eventually. It just takes some time. You should definitely look up how to mate with a king and a queen and how to mate with a king and a rook. Those two are really important.
Yeah, I did. I've done those.
Oh, okay, good.
Three times, I think. I've done the whole set.
Perfect.
I need the forking stuff and the discovery.
Mm-hmm.
I think from this game.
Yeah, well, this game had a ton of text. I mean, this was really instructive. So, good game. Congratulations on getting the win. It was well deserved in the long run.
That was my brain is so busted right now.
Yeah, mine is too. I'm sure my go is going to be like even worse than it normally would be afterwards, but that's okay.
So now we get to switch gears, right? I actually get to know what I'm talking about to an extent.
Yes, I get to be the one who bumbles through a game now.